Okay, so we are at the 2K booth here with Chris Thomas to talk about Battleborn. First off, the game is amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what are some of the influences for Battleborn?
Oh God, so there's a ton. Gearbox is really into all kinds of different genres. They're known for taking really cool genres and blending them together. One of the things that really inspired them were fighting games.
Yeah.
RPGs, obviously, some of our own stuff from Borderlands 2, and also the big movies that have tons of crazy characters, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars, and pretty much any universe where you have just these insane cast of characters together.
So I did notice a lot of the similarities in gameplay to Borderlands. Now, I know with Borderlands, when you only play with 2 players, it can be a little difficult. Now, you can play Battleborn with, is
up
it
to
5?
Up to 5, yep.
How hard is it to play with just 2?
Just 2?
Yes.
Oh, well, so the difficulty actually will scale based on how many people you have in the game. So similar to Borderlands 2, if you're playing by yourself, it's gonna be easier than if you have all 5 people there. So you can expect the game to crank it up in difficulty as soon as you have a full team of 5.
Okay. Now, if one of your players is absolutely terrible, does the game compensate ever?
I don't think we can compensate for just bad players. I think that you have to. You just have to kick that person off your team.
But what if there's only 2 of you and that person is me?
Well, I think you're still going to be able to have a good time. The game's not going to be so hard or so punishing that you can't get through it. And the characters also will get stronger throughout a singular match, because you level from 1 to 10 within a single multiplayer match or in a match in the story mode. So you're going to see that full character progression every time you play.
So the skill tree. Can you talk a little bit about that? Explain it a little bit.
Yeah, the full character progression is actually pretty complex. The core of it is the Helix System, and that's the one I was just talking about, where you level from 1 to 10 within a match. That gives you 2 augments that you can select from at every level, and those augments will change the way the character plays, essentially. Either add bonus damage or bonus defense, or it will change how their skills work. So you can make a character, the play style different for, depending on what's going on in the match. The next level of that is the character rank. The character rank will level up from 1 to 10 as well. And that's the more you play a character, the more that character will rank up, and you'll unlock skins and you'll unlock new augments to go into that will be options within the Helix. And then on the outside of that is the command rank, which is basically your player profile rank. And that actually, no matter what you're doing, whether it's multiplayer or the story mode, you're going to be gaining experience that will go towards your command rank, and that's going to unlock stuff like titles, badges, and some other stuff that we're not talking about yet.
So how much character customization will there be?
Well, like I said, there's definitely some skins that you'll be able to unlock through the character progression, and within that Helix system, there's a lot of customizing in as far as how you play that character. So one of the things I like to do with Oscar Mike, a lot of people just play him as a run and gun sort of like military guy, and that's fun, and that's cool. But one of his abilities is a stealth, like a cloak ability. So I like to take his augments and customize them so that ability makes it more like a stealth assassin. So I'll be doing a ton of damage to someone when I'm popping out of my stealth. So I'm usually circling around and sneaking through the map, while my buddy who's playing Oscar Mike will be just running and gunning the entire time. So you can definitely change up how each character plays.
Who is your favorite character?
Probably a Lindy, the little chaos mage.
Yeah.
She's the voice actor is the same voice actor that did Tiny Tina, and she just has an amazing array of skills and powers. She's always She has 4 arms, which is awesome, and she's super mobile. So I love doing tons of damage and being able to move around the map very quickly. So she's got to be my favorite.
So in movies right now, we have all these expanded universes, right? And of course, Gearbox made Borderlands. Is there any way we can get a character from Borderlands in Battleborn?
It's a good question. Right now, the universes are completely separate. We're trying to, there's so many characters that they've built for Battleborn, and each one of them is so diverse, so unique, and they're actually super hard to make. It's kind of like in Borderlands, each one of those characters that the 6 characters were really, really unique when it came to how they play and how you go through the missions with them. And this is like cranked up by 25, so there's a ton of them in there, and we're definitely keeping those universes separate. But it's cool. It's a cool idea for sure.
So the 5 people, is that for the story mode? The 5 people that can play together?
Yes. And multiplayer's 5v5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the favorite things was I played as Phoebe, who is a melee character.
Yep.
What goes into balancing between the melee characters and the characters with just giant guns?
It's actually pretty difficult because you have to make both of the characters feel powerful and feel fun to play, and you can't have a character, a melee character that just gets destroyed by everyone else, because they have to have abilities so that they can close distance and then get up close to you. But that's also where support characters come in, because some of the melee characters might not have as much armor, or might not be able to take as much damage as, say, like Montana or Boulder or something. But having a good support character on your team like Miko will allow you to have someone there who's healing you or buffing you, so keeping you alive, so you can go in and do a ton of damage with a sword or an axe or or whatever Caldarius has, a big blade on his arm. So yeah.
So humor seems to be a big part of games like Battleborn. How important is it for you guys to incorporate humor into these games?
Well, Gearbox is known for it. They're like everyone in that studio. They just have like big personalities, and Aaron Lindy is he's the lead writer on the project, and he's hilarious. I mean, and I know that he's done some interviews out there, and he's just a really funny guy. You probably saw in the demo and in the video that we showed, Cleese.
Yes.
It was like, Cleese is hilarious. Like, he's like, the writing is great. So it was very important to us to inject that humor. It's a really dark.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dark scenario with like the end of the universe and the last star, but while we're taking the story seriously, we don't want every moment in the game to be taken so seriously. We want there to be that fun, and we want that to be that that whimsical sort of humor. So.
The music in the game, or at least the level we played, was awesome. How do you guys come up with the music for it? Do you have a group of people, that core group that does your music for all the games?
Well, Gearbox actually has their own internal audio team, and they compose a lot of the music. Yeah. So and that's you're totally right. Like they all the music they've ever created has been great, and I believe they did all of it for Borderlands 2 also, except for the licensed music, of course.
I love the concept of there being one sun left and a few planets where everyone lives. Can you talk about some of the planets that you're going to be fighting in?
So right now, let's see, there's Bliss, which is essentially like the snowy planet that you guys saw. That's actually the area where like Montana and Oscar Mike, that's where their faction is based. There's Ekinar, which is the Eldred planet, and that's Thorn and Boulder. The Generate Empire is pretty cool. It's that's the one that's Wrath. Wrath is like they have their like gigantic. It's basically like a ship, and I believe, and they've actually like used a tractor beam or some way to pull their home planet to this system. So that I think those are the only 3 that we've actually like talked about so far. Yeah.
And I have one more question. So the thing about Borderlands is like the bajillion gazillion guns, right? With Battleborn, is it that is everyone's weapon specific to them, or can different people have like the same kind of weapon?
All the weapons are specific to the characters, but how those weapons actually function will change depending on how you customize the character within the Helix. So we kind of think of all of the characters and the augmentations in this game as our version of the bazillion guns, because there's just so many of them, and there's so many choices that you can make within that. So yeah, I mean, you're going to get tons of that variety.
So for me, Battleborn seems like one of those games that's great for people that are experienced gamers, but also really accessible to noobs. How do you guys sort of balance that and make it fit both of those groups of people?
It takes a long time. I mean, it's hard. We do a lot of focus testing. We play the game a lot ourselves. So we're always trying to find that balance between making a game really challenging and fun, but also accessible. Because you want people to be able to pick the game up and not feel like they can't get through it or have fun and just jump right in. So I mean, we spend a huge amount of resources on trying to get tons of focus assessors in to play the game and give us feedback, and that's just a constant. That's literally just a constant cycle that we do throughout the entire development cycle.
Awesome. And do you know how many levels there are going to be on the story mode?
We're not talking about how many levels are going to be just yet, but there is going to be a full story arc. There's going to be a full, you're going to see like the full story within the full narrative within the missions that you do get to play.
Awesome.
So a new thing that's happening right now that is exciting is there's some games are doing crossplay, like between PS4 and PC or Xbox and PC. Is there any chance of something like that for Battleborn?
We have no plans for that right now. No.
When does it come out?
Comes out this winter. PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Awesome. Well, I had a great time playing it, and thank you, Chris, so much for talking.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.